Hi, welcome to Coturnix Corner. My name's Terry, and this morning I briefly want to go over with you an issue that I've been having with my automatic watering system, and in particular these little red watering cups. About a week ago I came out into the quail room and one of my clean out trays was filled with water. It had actually filled up so much that it overflowed into the cage below. So I thought, well, I must have either a seal leaking or some dirt in the system, which caused the plunger valve to stick open. So I pulled all the cups out and cleaned them up. I flushed the entire system, reinstalled it, put it back together, and the next morning I get up and the exact same thing happened. Same cage, same tray, full of water. So I'm like, well, I've got to have bad cups. So I pulled the 3 cups out and installed 3 brand new ones and figured problem solved. Well, later that afternoon, I'm working out here in the quail room, and I looked in that cage, and one of my roosters was perched up on top of the cups. And I don't know if he was just perched up there, just to be up off the ground, or if he was sitting in that cup to try to cool himself off. Okay, so let me show you what I devised to resolve this situation. Basically, it's just a simple cage that mounts up over top of the watering cups, and what I used to make it out of is a piece of 1 inch by 2 inch welded wire. It's the same stuff that I used to build my cages with. Basically, it just mounts over top of the cups like this and prevents the birds from getting on top of the cups and sitting on top of them. Okay, so once you cut the width of your wire, like in my case it's 14 across this way and 4 inches this way, and what you want to do, I'll bring it over here, is you want to leave these ends long. You want to cut off that one strip of wire that goes here. So you want these sticking out, that way they can go through the cage and be bent over, and that'll hold it in place on the cage. The only other thing I'm going to do before I bend it and install it is clean these ends up with a grinder, just to keep the birds from scratching themselves or getting cut on that. Okay, now that you've got it all cleaned up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of pliers, and at the 1 inch point on each end, which is basically just the width of this wire, I'm going to bend it down, and that will be the side of our cage. Let me go ahead and move the camera over to one of the cages, and I'll show you how I install it up over top of the cups. Okay, so basically what you want to do is mount this above the cups about 1.5 inches or no more than 2 inches. Just by sticking these prongs through the cage wiring, and then you can bend them up and out of the way. You don't have to leave all these prongs on there. You can, cut it back to 3 or 4 prongs. To me, it's no big deal to get them out of the way, so I don't mind leaving them on there. Basically, just bend all these up, and then on the end ones, you're going to bend them over to the sides, and that will help. I mean, you can see I'm pushing down on that pretty good, and there's nothing going to mess with it. Okay, so if you've noticed any of your birds walking across or perching on top of your watering cups, you might want to give this idea a try. It's relatively simple to make and install, and I've been testing it now for about 2.5 weeks. Haven't had any more issues with flooded water trays, and I do have plans to install them on all the rest of my cages that have this same type of setup. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It helps me out, and you'll get notified of any new and upcoming videos. Like I say, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one.